SIX has about 3,500 employees, but how does a cultural transformation look like? And how do you reach out to all those employees?
That's very important indeed. So our people strategy has one of the core objectives that is called win hearts and minds. And that really is spot on, I would say, because we want to engage everyone on the playing field. I always had this picture, if you compare it to a football match, of many people standing at the sideline and observing what is happening on the field, and commenting. But hey, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just saying what's happening on the field. And the big challenge for us, and probably for many other organizations, is really to invite people and say, hey, you are playing on that field. And maybe sometimes it hurts, maybe there might be a foul, but you are engaged in that match. And I know it sounds trivial if you explain it that way, but that's the picture I had when we really started to work intensely with all people internationally throughout the business. We had too many people standing at the sidelines. And I think we work continuously to tell everyone, you are invited to play on the field and you make a difference. Yeah. And we encourage you to do it because maybe there is one thing only you can do.
And when would you say that SIX has reached a strong culture?
Let me first say that you're never done with culture. I think it needs continuous effort, as I said, from everyone, from all leaders, from all team members. It's a bit like democracy. So you constantly have to work on it, to preserve it, and to keep it up, and to have it the way you would like it to be.
I really like that about having creating that space for failure, because that's really where learning happens, right? Yeah. I mean, exactly. So.
Also, when talking about innovation, I think that's a big topic. That like the need for innovation and speed
has to allow space for failure. Otherwise, you can't take the risks and grow.
For interpersonal risk taking, and this is why, if I may add that as a thought. So when we talk about strong culture, for example, and leadership, the vulnerability thing, I think that is, why is it so big? Because it creates a space of safety for, to try out things. So if people see our leaders talk about defeat, about things that didn't go well, about themselves, obviously it helps in terms of growth, in terms of, creating a more innovative environment. It helps a lot. We're working on that. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we can improve a lot. But to have that as an ambition, I think that's something we are pretty focused on, to move in that direction.
And how do you encourage the leadership to show their vulnerability?
Well, first by experiencing it. We have started now a program in terms of, it's a part of our culture transformation program that is called Rethink Leadership. And that is structured around our new leadership capabilities that focus on self-leadership, on leading others and growing talent, and also on leading or orchestrating networks and ecosystems. And it all starts with I, as we say. With I means with really understanding your own impact, talk about your purpose, understanding your purpose, tap into inspiration and these things like vulnerability. And there is still this misconception that good leadership is if you don't show weakness or you seem to be on top of things, and we don't believe that. That's not how it is, and how you can achieve anything today. And particularly speaking about orchestrating networks and ecosystems, the days are over where you can do everything by yourself and in-house. So in the world we live, we have to perform in an ecosystem and create value for customers through ecosystems with contribution of many. And so these are things that are important to us.
And I feel like the Swiss companies actually do really well because they offer like part-time work, they offer, like home office. Now everyone does home office, and so it's all there, but it's about actually what's missing sometimes is creating that safe culture where people feel safe enough to take these risks to try something new. And like you were talking now about, like with the leadership, about, by showing that vulnerability that encourages people then to feel safe to take these interpersonal risks. Yeah. And I think that's something that we need to focus on in Switzerland, especially on how do we create a culture where people feel safe enough to say, hey, I want to maybe work 90% for a year because I've got a small baby at home. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to risk my career, but I want to do that. And I want to feel safe enough to be able to say that and not worry that people are going to judge me, or that I'm going to lose opportunities. Yeah. And exactly for moms who say like, I want to go down to 80%, or whatever that is. How do we create that safe space, that culture,
And what do you think, what kind of leadership do you think will survive?
I think one that is coined by trust, courage, and kindness. And please don't mistake kindness with, weakness or an inability to make tough decisions. What I mean is really authentic leadership, appreciation, and empathy. I believe in the world we are living in now with this fast-changing environment with complexity and agility. This is how we manage to empower teams and to win hearts and minds of people.
And what do you expect from yourself to be a good leader?
That I don't take myself too serious. In earnest, I think laughter, humor, fun are powerful catalysts of performance. And if you're honest, as human beings, that's how we connect, right? So it's a relational thing. So that's something I expect of myself. And then it's integrity, trust, and courage. Why is it important? Courage is a matter of heart. I'm inspired by leaders, as I said, that talk about mistakes, defeats, these things. And that takes courage. And this creates followership, even in times of uncertainty, in a volatile world.
There is this study about transactional and transformational leadership, and it's so difficult to extract what means transformational leadership, because that's the one that is you're not only having a deal with, it shines, and it's like this charming leader you want to follow. And I think it's exactly what you just explained.
I thought a lot about this as well. I think there is a pretty well-established theory. So transactional, you are in a status A and you navigate within that status A. And transformational, you go to a desired status B. But then again, and I call it here in between, there is an area of mist or fog. So it's a foggy area because whenever you are in a transformational journey, there's like risk attached to it. So you don't know, do we end up in status B or maybe in status C? And now the leadership question is, what makes you follow someone in that area of mist or fog there in between? And it's not like, you gave me the most convincing picture of how status B looks like. Yeah, it's important, to have a target picture. But in this area of fogginess, you follow the people to which you feel attached somehow, that are honest, where you see integrity, that talk about themselves and say, hey, I have new information. I thought this is right. Now I don't think it's right anymore. And this is why it's so big.
And I think it's nowadays becoming more and more of a topic, because this mist, this fogginess is becoming more and more in every kind of state, because it's just, the world is becoming so much more complex.
Which links back to these topics of trust, courage, and kindness, because that sounds like, but there is really very strong, compelling reasons why you need that to maneuver in that world. And that's, as you said, it's almost a permanent situation. So we are constantly transforming something. I would like to bring out why this is so important, why courage is so important, why it's a matter of heart. Because people don't follow the best specialist. They follow people where they think like, I'm seen, I feel that person, and I feel the human side. We talked about the human touch before, and I think this is highly important, and that's the kind of leadership we need to maneuver in the world we are in.